Hello, Tar Heel Nation. Welcome back to another episode of the UNC Hoops Talk podcast. I'm your host, Dan DeWitt. Welcome back in. And again, I say this every podcast now, it seems like, but it's been too long. But we are just over a week. It is Monday the 16th. I'm recording this. 25th is when we're recording this, so less than 10 days. A week and 2 days, day by the time you're hearing this, probably to the start of college basketball, hopefully. And I'm so excited and yet kind of leery. Like it seems, it's obviously close. It's just over a week here, but it seems like so far away. We just got the schedule. I mean, stuff is still up in the air and changing every day, and just crazy. But we're going to go through the schedule today. Usually this time of year, or even earlier than this, obviously, we have a predictions podcast where we predict, and I get your guys' predictions and everything. We go through all of that. And go through my predictions for the season, but just too much in the air. We don't know what games are going to be played and what's going to happen this season. So none of that, but I'm going to preview the schedule. And actually later this week, at least my plan is later this week to also start previewing games. Like I said, we're less than a week or just over a week away. By that time, we'll be under a week to the first game. We're going to start previewing those first couple of games at the end of November here, beginning December. And we're going to get into more regular podcasts. So if you're excited, hit that like button. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe wherever you're listening to the podcast. I greatly appreciate it. But I don't want this to get too long. We're going to jump in here and we're going to start previewing, going through the podcast here. And I just do want to point out here, Hannibal is watching live on YouTube. He says, I'm getting excited. And he says, I just hope that the virus don't end it before it starts. Yeah, I mean, and I guess that's something to say that there's already teams starting to kind of back their start off. There's been a couple of teams I've seen now that have said they're not going to do non-conference games, only playing league games. And so they're waiting until January. It's been a little bit, some of the smaller schools. I know Rick Pitino up in Iona is saying we should, back the season up and have May Mayhem or something like that instead of March Madness. And there's been a little bit more call for that. Obviously, for sure here in Tennessee where I live, the trajectory is up on amount of tests being happened, how many people are being positive. It feels like kind of all over the country that we're kind of on an uptick here. So it is a little scary, getting a little anxious about that. But I just want to watch some college basketball as well. Obviously, we want these guys to be safe. We want the schools to make the best decisions. We want the athletes to be safe and all that, but man, I need some college basketball. College football has been nice, but for me, it's all about college basketball. And Hannibal against his Ivy League canceled their whole season. It's true; they're not having any winter sports at all in the Ivy League. I mean, it's just crazy to think they were the first team to cancel their conference tournaments back in March. Hopefully they don't know something that everybody else doesn't, that we're going to end up without college basketball this season. But we're going to be positive on this podcast, positive vibes only. And we're going to go here through the schedule, like I said, and just kind of preview it. My first kind of overviewing first statement is there are no breaks. That means there's not time breaks as far as, just in case something happens, we're leaving this space open to reschedule games or to quarantine, anything like that. There's no breaks time-wise. And also for the Tar Heels, there's not, especially for a young Tar Heels and young backcourt, no time to just kind of get their feet wet and work their way into it. We're jumping in, and there isn't really breaks as we go through the schedule. Obviously, it's mostly an ACC schedule this year anyway, so we know there's not going to be. But even our non-conference, guys are going to have to come out ready and to go. We're going to see that as we go through here. So, if you don't know, you can go to goheels.com, schedules up there, social media, it's been posted all over the place. So you've probably seen it already, but if not, it is out there. You can see it. And like I said, we're going to go through it. So we know that we start with the College of Charleston. I don't know if this is a little, thank you to the College of Charleston for sending us Christian Keeling last year as a grad transfer, or how this came about. But we play them next Wednesday, November 25. And something about this schedule is we don't really have TV schedules. We don't have time schedules for most of them. And so, usually, especially when I'm previewing games, I like to let people know where they can watch the game and win. But a lot of that's not available yet, so we're gonna have to wait on that. But we do know that on Wednesday, I would assume an evening game, 7, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We're playing College of Charleston in Chapel Hill in the Dean Dome. Probably with no fans. Again, I don't think anything's been announced about fans for UNC. We've had some schools around the ACC announce they're having 15 to 25% capacity. I'm kind of imagining that we won't have any in the Dean Dome, maybe just parents or something like that. But that's still yet to be determined. So that'll be College of Charleston next Wednesday. Again, preview to that coming later this week. And then also I'll be previewing the Maui Invitational, or we can call it the Asheville Invitational, as it's moved to Asheville, North Carolina. We start with UNLV on that next Monday, the 30th, and that we'll play the 30th, the 1st, and the 2nd. Right, it's only 3 games. Maybe it's 4 games. Saying TBA there. So maybe it is 4 games. Am I thinking wrong? I don't know. I thought it was 3 games, but yeah, we'll see about that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 3 games. We got UNLV, and then we'll play either Alabama. Is this right? Alabama or Stanford? Yeah. Okay. I'm seeing this schedule is kind of messed up here. I should have found a better one, but Alabama or Stanford in the second round. Which, again, UNLV I'll get to the preview later, but we shouldn't have any problem with. Alabama and Stanford, both pretty decent teams, and then I think the only other ranked team in the Maui Invitational is Texas that we wouldn't see until the 3rd or championship round, or wherever we are at that point. Obviously, depending now. We do have a time that says 7 p.m. for the UNLV game on Monday. Again, I'm assuming that's Eastern time. And then it just says ESPN, ESPN2, or ESPNU that game will be on. I'm going to guess that will be an ESPN game at 7 p.m. Eastern. And then according to if we win or lose, obviously, it's either 4 or 9:30 on that Tuesday following that, and then, further out on the Wednesday. But then we follow that right up. So we'll play on Wednesday, last game there. We jump right back to the next Tuesday, the Big Ten ACC Challenge. We go to Iowa City to play Iowa, which will be ranked in most polls in the top 5, definitely a top 10 team, a veteran team, which, again, with our backcourt being so young, is going to be kind of interesting there. We play Iowa, and then we go, we're home against Elon that Saturday. Then we actually do get 1 week there. We go from Saturday the 12th to Saturday the 19th. We play Ohio State in the CBS Sports Classic. That'll be in Cleveland, Ohio. That one does say it's on CBS, obviously, CBS Sports Classic, and it does say 2 p.m. Again, I'm guessing Eastern on that time for the Ohio State game. And again, another a team that we can beat, but again, us being young, crowd shouldn't be a problem. Obviously, this year the crowds, obviously it would be an away game pretty much being in Cleveland, Ohio, but it shouldn't be a problem this year. But going against an older team in Ohio State, we'll see how we are. And again, we're just jumping in. And that'll be our last non-conference game of the season. December 22nd, it's a Tuesday. Following that Ohio State game, we jump right into the ACC play, and we go at NC State, followed right along by a trip to Georgia Tech is how we start off our ACC play to end out 2020. And then hopefully, we change that calendar to 2021 and things start to look up, not necessarily basketball-wise. Hopefully they're already looking good, but just life-wise, hopefully things are looking better by 2021. But we start off the new year, Syracuse at home, and we go at Miami, Clemson, kind of, including the Georgia Tech game. We got 4 games there that, we should win. We know that going to Miami can sometimes be kind of tricky. But then right after the Clemson game, we follow that up with a trip to Tallahassee to play a very good Florida State team this year. And then we are at home against Wake Forest. And then we got State again, another obviously rivalry game there, but a team we should beat there. Pitt, Notre Dame, Clemson, again, probably 4 or 5 games there. We should be favored at least in all of them, whether we win them or not. Well, we'll see what we're looking like at that point in the season. But then we go at Duke, Miami at home, at Virginia. Big stretch right there. This is the beginning of February. We go to Duke, Miami. Again, hopefully we win, but that's actually on a two-day turnover. We play Duke on a Saturday, Miami at home on a Monday, and then the following Saturday we go to Virginia. And then we got Virginia Tech, Louisville, we'll see how they are. They lost a big piece recently to injury for the season. Boston College, again, we should beat them. It's at their place, though. Then we got Florida State at home. And the last 3 games of the year, actually, Florida State at home, 2 Syracuse, and then Duke at home. So we ended very tough last 3 games again as well. Something else I think I should mention for this entire season is, or at least I guess the first part of the season, not the entire season, but the guys will be pretty much just playing basketball. They should feel kind of like professionals almost because the college, pretty much all the colleges, I don't know, for sure North Carolina has their exams before Thanksgiving. I guess maybe during the college. No, it would be before that because college's Charleston game is the day before Thanksgiving. So really this week is finals week for North Carolina. And then by the time Thanksgiving comes, their students are off campus back home and it'll be just the players. So all they really have to think about is basketball. So that'll be nice, obviously, for Roy Williams, for the guys. Hopefully they don't go crazy with all that time on their hands, but they can really just concentrate on basketball. And again, especially for those young guys, hopefully Leakey and Playtech and Garrison Brooks and Baycott, some of those veterans will kind of stay on top of the freshmen, get them in the gym and be teaching them what they need to know, along obviously with practice and the coaches, but getting them ready for these games. Because there's, again, we got the Maui Invitational, we can see a couple of decent teams there, the ACC Big Ten Challenge, the CBS Sports Classic, starting the ACC schedule off at State. Florida State's going to be a tough one right in there. State again, and then we got Duke, Virginia, Louisville will be decent, and another Florida State, Syracuse, Duke to end the season. Again, we got to preface this with who knows what happens. Like I said, there's no breaks here. If we get COVID going through our team, it's 2 weeks out. We're going to miss 3, 4, 5 games potentially in that stretch. So along with any other teams that have trouble with it, that have to cancel or switch our games up, it's just going to be a crazy season. Obviously, right now the ACC tournament is scheduled to be played in Washington D.C. starting on March 9th. That's that Tuesday, going through the Saturday, obviously before Selection Sunday. Again, we'll not even get to that yet. We'll talk about that when it gets a little bit closer because that's just so far away right now with all that's going on. It's just crazy. So that's kind of my spiel. Like I said, later this week, I'm hoping to get into the first game, the Charleston game, and then also the Maui Invitational, so that I don't have to be doing that over Thanksgiving. But giving us a preview and looking at the games, just the excitement that comes with it. Man, I can't even contain how excited I am, except that I'm just anxious as well because of who knows what's going to happen here with this season. So that's kind of my 2 cents on the season. I'd love to hear yours, either in the comments of this YouTube video or hit me up on Twitter or Instagram at alltarheeldan. I've noticed that the email unchoopstalk@gmail.com was full, and I don't think I was getting them. So if you've sent one in a while, I probably didn't see it, but it is cleared out now, so you can send me an email there if you'd rather do it that way. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got here. Before we go, other comments here. Grant Bowden stopped in, said, I find myself being super pumped about this squad. Help me out, Dan. Am I being a homer, or do you think there is reason for very optimistic with this team? I mean, I'm really optimistic, but at the same time, I know that this is not really the season. I don't think anyway. This is my opinion, but I don't think this is the season to be young, and we are young in the backcourt. We're going to be starting again, probably. Well, we've gone through it. If you didn't hear what I thought about the starting lineup, but Caleb Love is almost surely starting at point guard. My guess is that RJ Davis starts at the 2 because Anthony Harris isn't healthy enough. Even when Anthony Harris comes back, he played like 5 games as a freshman, so he's still young. He's still pretty much a freshman. And then Leakey obviously has experience, but we don't really count on him, or we don't look at him as to be one of our scorers. And then our front court is where we got to dominate. And Garrison has said, potentially the best front court in the country. Between Garrison, Baycott, and then the freshmen coming off the bench in Sharp and Kessler, and then hopefully we have Sterling Manley as well. And I know, there's other wings, obviously, again, but mostly the wings that I didn't mention are freshmen as well. Puff Johnson, Kerwin Walton, other freshmen here that we're going to have to count on. So I am optimistic. We got the talent, but I don't think this is the year to be young. So we're going to have to really get it going. I guess the good thing is how bad we played last year. We know that Roy isn't going to tolerate that. And this year we got the bodies to, if you're not doing it, you're benched and someone else is in. And I think Roy will do whatever it takes to make sure that we don't have a season like last year. So I am optimistic. As far as national championship, Final Four, it's a little bit of a stretch right now. I think we can do that, but I don't think anybody is really predicting that. I don't think I would predict that. But I think we can easily be a Sweet 16 team. Jump into the Elite Eight, and then hopefully we upset somebody, get into the Final Four, and then who knows what happens. But I mean, again, we got to get to that point first. We're so far off, especially in this season. Let's hope we get to play 15 games and get a March Madness. Can you imagine that? We're playing 30 games, 36 games, close to 40 games if you're getting to the championship, and we're hoping for 15 games, or we got 27 games scheduled right now. It is just crazy. But yeah, I'm optimistic. I'm just anxious more about this season. But I'm so ready to watch this team play, and I am ready to watch the freshmen play, see what we got. Usually by this time we got exhibitions, we got scrimmages. We're dying over here, right? But not really. That's the thing. I said at the beginning of the season, or at the beginning of this show, like we gotta be careful too, especially with the uptick of all the cases and stuff. Like, I know we're all sick of it, but it's not us going out there and playing. It's not us that are really putting ourselves out there to get sick. It's these kids and coaches and stuff. So we also got to be smart about it. As much as we want it, we got to make the right decisions as well as schools and as college basketball and as human beings, really. But yeah, we won't get into all that on this show. Positive vibes only, right? So Tar Heels and Kicks stopped in. Thank you for that. He says, great show, Tar Heel Nation. Absolutely. Hashtag Tar Heel. I mean, that is the motto of the show, is to unite Tar Heel Nation. So thank you for that. And then Hannibal says, we're going to kill everybody on the boards, but what else is new? So yeah, I mean, and we have to. Offensive rebound is going to be huge. Dumping it into the post is going to have to be huge. It's got to be our bread and butter this year. So yeah, I will hopefully be back again. Wherever you're listening to this, subscribe to it so you get the next one automatically. If you're watching on YouTube, I would love for you to subscribe. Still a long ways away from 1,000, but we did gain some. And I'd love for you to subscribe, hit the little bell so you're notified when I go live. You can join in and comment as well. Would love to have you and love the comments and the feedback I get from you guys. Keep sharing this with your Tar Heel friends and family. And let's, again, like I said, let's unite Tar Heel Nation. This is the season to do it. And let's just hope we get a season, and let's enjoy what we do get. So until later this week, go Heels.